Hey, happy Friday, everybody. This is Coach Terry here, and as a continuing part of the Best of the East Bay series, where I introduce you to somebody who's really spectacular and good at what they do, I wanted to introduce you today. This is Katie Kreutzner. Katie is a phenomenal artistic portrait and wedding and underwater photographer, does phenomenal work, some of which you're going to see today. And she's not only going to show you why she's one of the best around today, and you should use her for anything you need, from family portraits to weddings to group activities, but also she's going to tell you some really cool things on how to take better pictures yourself. So Katie, what would you like us to know about, how you developed as an artist?
Well, I started taking photos in high school. My first wedding was actually when I was 18 years old. It was a film photo session. I was actually paid with the film. And it was my uncle's wedding. And one of the photos that I got from that is still a photo that I use in a lot of my promotional material because it's so classic. And then I went to Brooks Institute of Photography. I graduated from Brooks Institute with a bachelor's degree in professional portraiture, and that is what I'm doing now.
And that's not an easy school to graduate from either,
No,
because I'm familiar with them from way back in the past when I was doing photography myself, and they definitely have some high standards, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So what I've noticed, that you have a specific eye, and one that like, it impresses me immediately, because you can't teach that. Even if you can go to any school you want and get a degree, but if you don't have that thing that separates you from other people, and we call that the photographer's eye, and it's a wonderful gift. So why don't you show us? I love this, and somebody really has to have that eye in order to get that. You don't make it happen. It happens, and you're there because of the fact that you see it. Is that right?
Right,
Is
right,
that the
yeah.
kind of feeling, and the lighting and so on, and the texture and all the technical stuff, but your artistic part of blending in all that stuff,
Right.
I just can't say enough about.
So one of my favorite things to do is use natural light. I love being outside and in shaded areas and using the elements to my advantage, especially in portrait photographer. As a portrait photographer, this image is actually photographed in a bedroom with a large window. Babies need to be in there in an enclosed space because they're so young, and the large window gave me that natural light that I was looking for. One of the other things that I love to do, one of my philosophies, is to really get to know my clients and be their friend. Be able to get to know their children and have that relationship where they feel comfortable with me coming in and being around their children so that I can photograph their natural family dynamic.
Right.
So.
Good. And speaking of families,
So this is a photo I took in Lompoc with a family. This is actually the owner of the dive shop that I did my dive certification with.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it was her family, and they're a great family. They're so much fun to work with, and doing this portrait, I blew it up to a 30 by 40 image.
Oh, sweet.
So it's really about the landscape at that point, and they make the piece of art. It's their family as a piece of art.
Yes. And if you were an active family, you would prefer to sit on a couch lined up like little soldiers and they take the picture? Or would you like something really cool like this? So,
Yeah.
with everybody doing what they do naturally, and that gorgeous, the blonde hair reflecting the light and everybody interacting. It's crazy good.
Thank
All right.
you.
Let's talk about this. This is one of my favorites so far, and we're going to actually tell the story behind this. What do you think?
So this is an engagement session that I actually did while I was at Brooks.
And I want to show you the way these two people are looking at each other. This is the coolest thing. So let me come over here real close so they can see that. Okay. Now, are they like connected? And is that a extremely close moment that you captured that is so great? And there's other things about this picture that I love too, because we're going to tell a little story about this too, because there was a critique on it.
So while I was in school, every photograph that came across our instructor's desk, there was a critique, an in-class critique with the whole class.
Right.
And the instructor that I had at this point, she said, I don't like this particular portrait because of the fact that her legs are crossed funny, and it looks like her leg is broken. And as Coach pointed out, the lines of the legs actually bring them all together.
And they match the lines of the faces.
Exactly.
So it's like, it could not have been more perfect. It just goes to show you, instructors and critics don't know everything. Because the first thing I noticed was, wow, that's really cool, the way the legs make those great lines. And they bring you into the photograph, and then the way this couple in love is looking at each other makes you, gives you all warm and fuzzy inside. So, I would have gave it an A+ anyhow.
Well, thank you, Coach.
So, and then you have this beautiful Rembrandt lighting and a gorgeous young lady. Yeah. So we're going to bring that up too. This
is more of a boudoir photograph that she wanted to have that really sexy feel to her photograph, and it turned out a lot more artistic than she ever expected it to, and it's a beautiful portrait of her.
It certainly is, and I would call it more sensual than boudoir type anyhow. So, could be even, looks like it could be a nice wedding photo. But when you can get a kid to be adorable instead of, anything other than that, this is
Coach,
so...
I think all kids are adorable.
Well, that's probably why you get them like that. Because this is the way, if I had a little girl, I'd want her to pose like this if I was taking a picture.
As I said before, one of the most important things to me is to really get to know the personality of not only the family but the child. Every child has a different personality and has that spark that's different from everybody else, which is great to capture. And that is my goal, is to capture that spark in every one of my clients.
That's fantastic, and you're so good at that. That's where the art comes.
Oh, thank you.
And you